by Nicolo, Price and Pratt. In the forwards, Fielden, Smith and Anderson, Radford, Peacock the skipper and Langley in for the injured Logan Swan. And the bench occupied by Van Ganar, Coelove, Reardon and Parker, coach Brian Noble. Now the men from Wigan. Radlinski, the captain in the absence of Andrew Farrell. Dallas, Aspinwall, Wild and Carney, Orr and Robinson. Up front it's Pongia, Newton and Smith, Hock, Tickle and O'Loughlin. And on the bench, O'Connor, Sculthorpe, Mark Smith and young Kevin Brown. Coach Mike Gregory. Russell Smith is tonight's big match referee. It's about to rumble into action again. The Tetley Super League 2004, we're underway.
You little beauty, Eddie.
And Pongia with the first run, and he takes the first tackle of the new season. And Wigan immediately with Tickle trying to up the ante, trying to force the pace. This is Brian Carney now. Newton, the man at dummy half, gets the ball in field. That's O'Loughlin.
Pretty rugged start by the Wigan forwards. Interesting to note very early in the game that they're not making it to the first receiver. They're missing him out. It's going out two men wide. Obviously early tactics from the coach Mike Gregory.
They've got to the halfway line thanks to Craig Smith. Newton off the deck, gives it to young Luke Robinson. There's the high kick, and underneath it, positioned perfectly, Michael Withers. Good chase, but too eager. Far too eager. They were ahead of the kicker.
Only just as well. There was two that hung back. Yeah, you can see there, man directly in front.
Well, Gareth Hock's kick, the young player of the year.
To be fair, Eddie, it wasn't a good kick from Luke Robinson.
Gareth Hock's chase, of course, Robinson with the kick, you're right. This is Anderson. Tackled by Danny Orr. And Fielden was the dummy runner. And Sean O'Loughlin watched him. There's Mike Gregory, the Wigan coach. Believes that his men will give a very good account of themselves tonight. No talk of revenge, he says. Just they want to get on with the business of winning 2 championship points. Fielden, who was absolutely magnificent last Friday.
They all were. They worked as a unit. Team spirit was high.
There's one of the high kicks that wreaked havoc for Rhys Wesser, but Radlinski deals with it confidently.
Good refereeing there by Russell Smith. There's quite a few players in front of the kicker just as a few moments ago.
Aspinwall gets the penalty, interference. Shontaine Harpy would not allow Martin Aspinwall to get to his feet to play that ball quickly.
There's a silly penalty to give away as well. Brian Noble, their coach, won't be too happy about that. Lost good field position. Something that Brian Noble and his side work on week in, week out. They try to just grind down the opposition by turning them around and doing most of their defending in the opposition's half.
This is Craig Smith driving the ball over the halfway line for Wigan. Craig Smith had a wonderful back end of the season. Brian Noble, coach of the year. Danny Orr, good ball, good tackle. Good low tackle by Jamie Langley. And he felt that. Did Gareth Hock. The lovely little break though from Wigan.
Good job that Withers got to him. Beautiful play, little pass on the inside and applied the pressure. They're screaming for the ball out wide.
This is Hock, he plays the ball quickly. Now it's with Danny Orr. And Danny Orr attacking the defence, kicks the ball through. It bounces everywhere, it's still not cleared. And it almost was touched down, and Harpy just had to palm the ball out.
Well, the centre was asleep there, Shontaine Harpy. Beautifully weighted kick, it bounced all over the place, but really he should have got to it a lot quicker than that. Under a lot of pressure, Danny Tickle applying that. That could have been a try. It was, what a scrappy effort from this fella. Maybe nerves, Eddie.
First real opportunity that Wigan had then of attacking the Bradford line. This is Danny Tickle again for the Wigan Warriors. who did better away from home than at the JJB Stadium last year. Just 3 defeats on their travels at Castleford, Hull and Huddersfield. Playance is the referee. Craig Smith again will drive it forward. A collision of the big men. Anderson was there, so too was Peacock. This is Terry Newton from dummy half, finds Danny Orr. He turns the direction of the attack quite brilliantly, and that is a Lachlan, and he loses it.
He's going to be offside. Slipped out the back, and the little half-back was stood in front. Well spotted yet again from Russell Smith. Look towards a new season. And I have to say, I know they say I'm biased, Eddie, but each year it's got bigger and better, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And by the looks of things, Russell Smith, the referees are pretty sharp so far this year.
Let's get back, lads. This line.
Absolutely right. He got Luke Robinson for being in front of the ball when it was lost. And here is Anderson again.
One relay.
Interesting to see how the Bradford pack work in conjunction with the new hooker, Aaron Smith. I thought he was outstanding against Penrith last week. Can he keep it going? Big shoes to fill. Jimmy Lowe's no longer here. Well, not playing anyway.
No, he's on the sideline carrying the water and carrying the messages on and off. Hope it's warm water tonight. It's a bitterly cold evening at Odsal. Leon Price, he's got the pass away, but it was dropped.
Went backwards, said the official. I think he's got it right too.
And he keeps the tackle count going. That's 4, but they've lost ground. And here is Tavita Vaikona.
It's trying to be a little bit too fancy, Bradford, on that occasion.
Leon Price with the kick over the top. Luke Robinson and funnel back though. Claims it. And bullets the ball to Radlinski.
Good chase. Leading the way. Former Wigan player Paul Johnson.
Gallus, big hit on the shoulder, said the referee.
2 hands up.
This is called a kick-off, Eddie. I mentioned the fact that Brian Carney, of course, in that grand final got carted off with an injury. He'll be looking for a super game. That's a bad mistake.
Yes, Aspinwall. It was a nervous fumble from young Martin Aspinwall. This is his 50th appearance for Wigan.
Nothing wrong with the pass at all. You could see there he just had a little look. Both sides looking a bit edgy. Nerves playing its part.
Well, they know that whatever happens tonight, they put a marker down for the rest of the season. All right, this won't win them a title, but it will put a little bit of doubt into the opposition, just as I'm sure Bradford's performance last week put a little bit of doubt into every one of the other teams in Super League.
Spot on, Eddie.
Withers, man of the match at Huddersfield, with a dancing run.
Has a wonderful ability, and it looks as though he's not running onto the football. It looks as though he's standing still, and then he's got those twinkle toes, and off he goes.
That was Paul Johnson. Bradford at 15 metres away. This is Carl Pratt.
Awful pass.
It wasn't the best.
Lack of communication. The man had gone through. He thought it was going to be the dummy runner, and Pratt offloaded it. Another big hit from the man I was talking about, Brian Carney. Bump. He didn't want that. He thought it was going to go behind him, did the big prop forward Stuart Fielden.
Well, it's 7.5 minutes old at Super League 9, and the pace is unbelievable. Gareth Hock. Fleet of foot and quickness of mind on show here.
And again, good refereeing there. A lot of referees, without that experience, maybe would have penalised that. They want to keep the game going. That's great to see.
Robinson, good ball to Tickle. Goes wide and behind Carney and behind Aspinwall. Carl Pratt enjoyed that.
He loves the toughness of the game, doesn't he, Carl Pratt? A lot of eyebrows raised when Brian Noble went for Carl Pratt from Leeds.
Gonna stay, mate. We're gonna stay, okay?
Certainly settled down well. Danny Tickle with a mistake.
That's a great hit on Tavita Vaikona, and it was by Danny Orr. And there's an early change here for Bradford. Early injury, Bill.
Well, for Bradford, big trouble for Bradford by the look of things, because Shontaine Harpy has gone straight off the field. Toa Koilov is coming on for the Bulls, and there was no hesitation there. Harpy went down. It was Leslie Vainicolo who signalled the trainers that they needed to get on urgently, and they took him off pretty urgently as well. So that's an early blow for the Bulls. Koilov is on.
Not a bad replacement though, Toa Koilov, is he? Here is Leon Price now. Relished his opportunity at standoff. Gareth Hock pulled away, then got a bang in the mouth. Here's Carl Pratt. Floats the ball. Great hands there by Koilov. And it's a good job that Carney got to that. It'll be 6 to go.
Not so sure that wasn't slightly forward either. I think some of the Wigan players just sort of hesitated.
Carney's appealing for a knock-on, and I think he's going to get it.
Yep.
Stuart Fielden lost the ball. No advantage.
Fielden lost the ball.
No advantage.
So he'll give it to Bradford. No advantage given because it was a knock-on by the Wigan player. As much as Carney says he did lose it, he was spot on. It's not going to get him the possession. Boy, aren't they wound up for this?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Leon Price. Wide it goes to Withers. There's a gap there for Withers. Danny Orr closed it.
Again, just a simple step off that right foot, but it's so effective. Must say, though, this is cruel, some of the Wigan defence.
Koilov feeling the weight of that. Here's Leon Price again, looking left and finding Pratt. Pratt then looking for someone to join the line. And it was Radford. And they're so close, Bradford. Vainikolo, he's unstoppable. Oh, no, he isn't.
First defence, Luke Robinson stood in front of.
And Luke Robinson penalised. First offence, penalty, he was offside. Referee playing the advantage.
Real power play, though, by the Bradford Bulls. Got them into this wonderful position.
Not 2 yards in front of it.
And there's the culprit. Silly penalty to give away. They've been under the cost. This will be the third time they've had the opportunity to go through a full set of 6.
That's Anderson on the first drive. Well, Bradford's defence against Penrith was magnificent last week. How can Wigan cope with this? Fielden, they stop him dead in his tracks.
Again, that looked very slightly forward.
Aaron Smith, long pass. Leon Price bouncing away from 2, but they're all over him. They're swarming around Leon Price.
And listen to the Wigan fans, they really do blame Leon Price for that. They think that it wasn't a legal tackle that showed that Brian Carney left the grand final. Well, 6s and 7s, aren't they, the Bulls?
Yes, they haven't really appeared to have picked up the momentum from last Friday, Clarkey, have they? Not yet.
No, they haven't, no, but conversely, the Wigan side, very impressive beginning. And Mike Gregory, their coach, said before the game that it was just about 2 points tonight, but you couldn't really tell that from the enthusiasm of the Wigan players at the moment. They look the sharper, keener side, really, and I know Bradford have put them under pressure at that end of the field, but they've been up to every test they've had so far. One of the cruelest things against playing against Bradford is when they lose a player like Shantae Harpy through injury, they've got the ability and such strength of a squad to bring on an equally talented player in Toa Koilov, and that's why they are so a difficult side to play against.
Clark, I just get the impression that Bradford just trying to be a little bit too fancy.
Yeah, do you know, I probably... We all expected a little bit of a hangover, didn't we, from the performance of last week. It's very hard in sport to peak 2 weeks in a row, and I know that even if they go to win here today, it'll probably just be a case of scraping through. As Wigan have had maybe a few months to prepare all for this one game, and look at the enthusiasm in this chase, where for Bradford everything really was geared around their performance last week. They've had to back up and do it again tonight. Vainikolo, though, they've got such size, it gets them out of trouble. Look at that for his power.
Oh, he's explosive, is Leslie Vainikolo. Opening try last week in the World Club Challenge victory. And now they're probing down the right-hand side, Bradford. But it's terrific Wigan defence.
Was it ever? And leading the way, the second row, Gareth Hock looked a bit high at the moment. And lack of discipline has allowed the Bulls out of their own half.
Just let me blow it, no problem, Cal. No problem at all.
Boy, what pace this is going at. Messing around, already called held. Trying to hold him down. Mike Gregory, well, he'd be happy with the start, especially with the fact that the ball had had so much possession, and that was hard.
Yes, and Stuart Fielden is angry with Craig Smith.
No love lost there, I'll tell you. Between these two sides, they really are into each other's face. Oh, that was a bad one.
I'm only going to pocket for a blood beat. Nothing to do with this incident.
Oh, dear me.
Gareth, blood beat.
Well, he's looking.
He's got to go
That's all
on,
I
and
can
it's been
say.
like it for the last few minutes.
We've seen over the past few seasons that Stuart Fielder,
But
boy, does he become a
We've got
target.
him right. We've got to get him lower.
Craig Smith in his defence, or in his own defence, he said, I got him first on the shoulder, and the referee said, you've got to start getting them a bit lower, and he's now having a little word with Stuart Fielder, who was almost ready to take matters into his own hands. 5-1, it's a big penalty count that's going against Wigan at the moment. Anderson for the Bulls.
A couple of silly penalties as well, but
Gareth Fox in the blood bin, by the way.
it's not surprising, Eddie, because this Wigan defence, you can see they're coming out of the blocks out wide. They're forcing Bradford into one-out football.
Magnificent tackle there by O'Loughlin, but then he messes it up. He has a second snap at Fielden's leg.
They'll go
And
for
the
the two.
referee wants a word with the Wigan skipper now.
Captain, please.
Sixth penalty here, and they are now walking a tightrope, Wigan.
Too many infringements, Chris.
Well, they don't
No one
need
in
it.
particular. Little leg pull again. I've just penalised you for holding down. I don't know how many penalties, but I guess it's probably 4 or 5. I know one of them's been in a eye. No one in particular. Team penalties, Chris. But you know what could follow next.
It's no one in particular then, but the yellow card is itching to get out of Russell Smith's pocket.
He's a smart cookie, isn't he? The Wigan fullback, Redlinski. He said, no one in particular, sir. Of course not. Just checking out. It's a rugged start by Wigan. They really are into it. A good start indeed, and I think that Bradford will be quite happy
Let me deal with it.
to get the scoreboard ticking for the first time in Super League in 2004. That's if it's successful.
3 goals from 5 attempts last week, 1 from 1 tonight, and Bradford Bulls, the champions of the Super League, are ahead by 2 points to 0. Paul Cullen is alongside us here. He's our special guest. We thought it'd be a bit sharp, Paul. It's a rip-roaring start.
Great battle in that middle channel, the big 2 Wigan props against the might of the Bradford Bulls, and they're not missing each other any at all, are they? They're really getting into each other.
You're all ready for tomorrow, having seen this? This is just the hors d'oeuvre for you.
Well, it's hopefully we can match that aggression in the middle of the field. I think we're going to need to.
Never mind aggression there. Paul Cullen stood at the back of me, and I'm black and blue already. Calm down.
Tickle restarts then for Wigan. High-hanging kick. Leon Price is underneath it. Gives it immediately to Anderson. Warrington Wakefield. We're at the big housewarming party at Warrington's brand new stadium. 14,206 tickets bought and sold, and it's a full house. Here's Fielden.
Look at the way that this Wigan defence is moving out.
Fielden is a little bit angry with Quentin Pongier. Big kick downfield, and that's quite early. It's a chance here for Radlinski to attack from deep. That's a good chase, and Koilov got to him.
I'm not so sure, Eddie. You say he was a good chase, but the Bradford chase then just went so far and then stopped. They normally force the error. Radlinski had all the time in the world to get valuable metres forward.
Bradford offside now.
I think they'll go for the kick in the corner. They want the possession.
Ironic cheers from the Wigan fans. They've been given a penalty by Russell Smith. Well, if this is the start of 2004's Super League competition, Steve-O, the next 9 months are going to fly by.
Come on, lads, hold your tens.
I'll be down to about 9 stone, I think. It's great to see it as well, but I think that just one little point that I brought out, Teddy, is the fact that the chase wasn't as good as we saw last week against Penrith. That game against Penrith may have just taken it out of them.
Ball wide by Robinson.
Hands off 2, this line.
This is Danny Orr. Gives it to Craig Smith.
Went back, still 2.
Orr goes back. This is Newton.
Hands off 3 on your line.
Well, the defensive effort from the sides on the evidence of a match and a bit that we've seen, it's up a notch this year. Danny Orr, it was a bit of a hopeful pass. It came up because Dallas was there. He did well, and then he's clobbered by Withers.
Well, to be
Got away
fair,
from Aaron Smith.
to be fair to Danny Orr, he was looking for a runner, and there was no one there.
Not the best. It's on the bounce, and Tickle couldn't take it in. And here comes the counter-attack with Johnson.
Quickly.
Former Wigan man sent off in the first round match of last year with Castleford. And now he gets another penalty, and someone's on his way to the bin.
Luke Robinson, nowhere near square.
Luke Robinson.
Nowhere near square.
Well, he did warn them. He's a wonderful, wonderful winger, you know, Leslie Vainicolo. It was a bit raw to start with, but this is the ability that he had. He brought it off a couple of times last week, where he runs into dummy half straight away. When it's a kick and chase into the corner, he sets off and he makes sure he goes for a man that's made no attempt, as Luke Robinson did then, to get back the 10 metres, leaving the official no option but to give the penalty.
Well, Wigan will say that they're being caned in the penalties by Russell Smith. Are they all justified, you think?
I think so, yes.
I don't think Mike Gregory would agree, but we'll see. Here's an opportunity then. Wigan down to 12 men. Bradford 2 up. And with Pratt, and now Price. They're looking to spread it here with Withers.
Nice angle run as well. They utilise the 2 dummy runners going there on that same angle.
Here's Vaikona.
Does it ever so well. Withers comes round on the arc towards the wing.
Paul Anderson takes a breather. Vanganar comes on. Aaron Smith, Jamie Peacock.
Release. And wait.
Aaron Smith again waits at dummy half. They're 8 metres shy of the line. Come back a bit now to get the angle with Price onto Pratt. He finds Johnson. And Johnson will be desperate to score against this Wigan club, I'm sure. Vainicolo! Good defence.
Was it ever? Carney latched onto him like a Lidbit mine. Oh, there's got to be offside. They went over the line surely too quickly.
Pratt with a kick through. Oh, brilliantly picked up there by Danny Orr.
It's a dodgy one, bouncing all over the place. Oh, I'm glad I'm sat up here. This is going to be a big one. It was an area that a lot of people thought that without Deacon that Bradford would suffer, but I must say Carl Pratt has stepped into the shoes very well indeed. Oh, look at that that's going on out there.
Fielden on Pongia. Last tackle. Wigan having a struggle at the moment getting out of their own half. Vainicolo was underneath it. It was right down his throat. He's trying to get away from Carney. Carney, oh, does really well. Brian Carney gets pats on the back from all his teammates. Terrific defence. Clarkey, magnificent game so far.
It is, and we looked at a similar incident, didn't we, at the JJB Stadium where Vainicolo went round Carney last season. The big thing that we've obviously highlighted is the fact that Brian Carney is a very intelligent player. He learns from his mistakes and he puts them into practice. He's just come up with a massive play there. The game was slipping against Wigan. They were struggling to get some quality possession inside the Bradford half. They were looking tired because they were doing so much defending, and all of a sudden he's come up with possession on a first tackle like that, and that's a massive turnaround. Could be a turning point in this first half.
Certainly was, Crikey. You just got the impression there that when you move that's such a weight there, it's like pushing a piano down the stairs, isn't it? There was never going to anybody was going to stop him going over the whitewash.
No, big tackle, and now we're going to need to put something on, but it's very difficult. They've lost Robinson. Even more pressure now on Danny Orr to create something for the outside players.
Danny Orr gives it to O'Loughlin. Wigan looking to counter-attack here. Radlinski, and he's stolen one-on-one. The ball was stolen one-on-one by Carl Pratt.
Super stuff by Pratt there. He had every intention to get this. It's mine, baby. Took it away. Very rare you see that from an experienced player like Radlinski. It's pretty cold out there, but it's warm when you think about the defence. They can't keep this up, surely.
Well, they're super fit now, these stars of the Super League. This is Carl Pratt. Oh, that's a mistake. Radford was reaching for it and just knocked the ball forward. Down to Bill. Bill.
Eddie, bad news for the Bulls, and Shantaine Harpy, I think, is on his way to hospital. He was taken to the dressing room a short time ago. It looks like that left arm. I'm told it might be around the elbow, but whatever it is, it's serious enough for the Bulls to want him to go to hospital for an x-ray. So on the injury front, it's not been the best of starts. They lost Logan Swan against Penrith last week. He's got medial knee ligament damage, and now Shantaine Harpy is out. Mind you, what a bad replacement with Toa Koe-Love coming on.
Well done, mate.
No, indeed not, but that's a bitter pill for any coach to swallow, the opening game of the season. Let's hope that the diagnosis in hospital is not as grim as you're fearing.
Vangadar come up with a big one there. Good play though by Wigan. They realise that they're down to 12. They've got to eat up the clock. Make sure the little halfback can get back on.
Danny Orr. Oh, he straightens it up and he gets the ball away to Tickle. And that was a certain try. Newton was looking for it, and a good job that Withers got a hand to this.
Super build-up, wasn't it? Look at the step there, back on the inside. Oh, he offloaded.
And Newton was celebrating.
Just couldn't control it there, could he? Michael Withers saves the try. He was underneath the sticks.
Oh, he was. Wigan then with another set of 6 here with Radlinski 20 metres away from the line. Martin Aspinwall waits at dummy half. Here's Tickle. Tickle was looking to offload again. This is Terry Newton. Terry O'Connor was the dummy runner. They miss another one out and find Danny Orr. Danny Orr then helps it on to Radlinski. Oh, great ball out the back. Danny Orr carrying things forward for Wigan and trying to straighten it up again. Getting Wigan. Oh, great ball. What an offload that was to Newton. Back to Terry O'Connor.
Release 3. On your line.
The Odsal crowd goes quiet every time Wigan are on the offensive. They know what a dangerous side this is. Newton with the kick to the in goal, and it was the boot of Leon Price that forced it over the line with Radlinski hunting the try.
Good option yet again. Good build-up as well. Keen to keep this ball alive. Well weighted by the hooker.
Keep him behind this side.
And the pressure is really being applied.
He'll be very, very pleased with the opening 25 minutes of this match, despite the fact he's had a man in the sin bin, despite the fact that his team have conceded the one penalty in front of the sticks that Michael Withers could kick. Oh, Stephen Wild! That was on Joe Vangana special.
That's the second one is produced. There'll be more to come, I'm sure.
That's Danny Sculthorpe.
Not too early, Joe.
And here is Wild again. And again it's Vanganar who's all round him.
Danny Orr should be shouting for this one.
And he's got it, Danny Orr. And then he gives it to O'Loughlin. Just can't get the ball away from the 3-man tackle. That's terrific defence. Forcing him back 5, 6, 7 metres.
Oh, did he lose that?
And this is Carney. Comes in field, straightens it up, or tries to.
Time and last, the line, Bradford, the line!
Surely they'll opt for the kick yet again.
5.
Newton, there is the kick, left-footed.
Diffused well.
Diffused in goal by Michael Withers. Tap on the 20, and away they go. All the Bradford men were behind the ball, they were onside. So they can take the quick tap restart. Wigan were just ambling back a bit then. Now they're settled.
Quick thinking by the Bulls. Obviously a ploy that they've been working on in the training paddock, but wonderful position there.
Oh, and there's a break.
Michael Withers.
Jamie Peacock stands, offloads. Aaron Smith, on it goes to Vicona. He just shrugs away from one tackle. Can't get away from the next 2. Danny Orr's getting through a ton of work in defence. Leon Price, great ball. Michael Withers, a strolling try. Fantastic try from Bradford. Fantastic try from Michael Withers, who has picked up where he left off last week and his man of the match performance in the World Club Challenge. All the pressure that Wigan had, and in the end the extra man has told there, and Withers with the try.
All came about on the run. Field and made it. Peacock carried him through. Super stuff, kept it alive. And when they get the ball out here, the big fella, they've had to come in from the wing. You can see there Dallas is caught short, and not surprisingly, they've worked the blind side. Back on the inside. They keep telling me that this Withers can only step up his right foot. That's all he does, and yet he comes up with TRY. Watch this. Goodbye. Not a finger laid on him. What a great effort. They carted it back from deep within their own half. And the man in the moment, Michael Withers. He's looking forward, he says, to having a big, big year.
Well, he had a shocker last year. Just 6 appearances in 2003. So he's fresh as a daisy. And what's more, he has scored all 8 of the Bradford points thus far. Penalty and a conversion, and that fabulous try. Michael Withers Who'll ever forget the hat-trick he scored in the grand final against Wigan in 2001? And they're all wrapped up against the cold.
Spoke about the winger, Brett Dallas has come through, not surprising. Bradford worked the blind side, run out of numbers, came across on the angle, and that wonderful step. Twinkle Toes, the fullback, with us.
8-0 Bradford. Quite a try, Clarkie.
Yeah, it was all set up by the run, firstly by Jamie Peacock. His favourite run really is back into the hole that exists in the defensive line, behind where the play the ball are. And if he can evade the markers, he knows that he can pick up some space. Time and time again, he makes ground for Bradford doing that. And on the back of his quick play the ball, he scored shortly after it. It's amazing that the pressure that Wigan had on the Bradford line was all relieved when the kick went on the full from Terry Newton straight into the arms of Michael Withers. You see again the run that Bradford like there. It's angled back in. They've been pulled up here for a forward pass, but they've very successful with that run so many of the forwards make.
It surprises me that, Eddie, that they're continuing to do this. It's a 50-50 ball. We know a lot of the players and a lot of teams utilise that. And that's about the fourth time that they've been caught.
14 points to 2. St Helens are ahead, and a massive crowd apparently at Knowsley Road. There was a 15-minute delay to the kick-off there. So good times aplenty in the Super League on this opening weekend already. Big crowd here at Odsall, big crowd at Knowsley Road, sell out at Warrington. Great stuff, and great defence from Bradford again. Sculthorpe. Terry Newton, Luke Robinson back out of the sin bin now. Danny Orr pops the ball up, little half break. Robinson is supporting. Just couldn't get away from Withers. Last tackle here for Wigan. Carney wants it down the line and high. He's got it, and underneath it though is Vinacolo. He went from the field of play, and so it's a drop out underneath the sticks.
Well taken by the big winner, Vinacolo. Good option. Push it right into the corner. He's having a big game though, isn't he? Not only in defence, getting himself in a good position, but the runs that he has from deep within his own half. The decision by the official Russell Smith.
Got it spot on. Brian Carney, good competitiveness for the ball in the air. His coach Mike Gregory will be pleased about that. But Wigan could do with a try.
Yeah, the thing he won't be happy with is the fact that they've applied the pressure, come up with no points.
Come up empty, exactly. Yeah. That's the third goal line dropout they've forced though.
The one positive though, I'll be looking at the fact that Danny Orr slowly but surely is getting into this game.
What a tackle by Johnson, and Danny Sculthorpe, well, he's all over the show. It was a forward pass that he picked up, and then he picked up an absolute bell ringer.
Had a big red cross on that one. Tough hombre.
Oh. And that was Paul Johnson.
Once a mate. I don't know whether I'm right or not, but just got the impression that Russell Smith just cringed when that came about.
I think we all did. He's getting a touch of the smelling salts, Paul Sculthorpe. Danny Sculthorpe, Paul's at St Helens, isn't he?
It is early, Eddie.
I know. Paul Johnson, you see. Danny Sculthorpe. It's only an excuse.
You've had 14 years of that, haven't
we? We're underway again. Danny Sculthorpe with the salts, and well, he's back in the defensive line.
I made the point that how on earth these two sides can keep up the pace, and they certainly have done that.
Vangenaar.
Some of this stuff is cruel.
Oh, it is. Oh, brilliant though. Oh, and what a pickup by Pratt. And he finds Fielden. Fielden makes the break. Either side, Fielden has support. Oh, and he went the wrong way, and there's a knock on. They're saying on the terraces it went backwards, but he just lost control of that. You had to give the knock on. Just dropped out of his hand. Well, that's an opportunity blown by Stuart Fielden.
It was good work as well. Well picked up by Pratt. Really should have looked on the inside. No doubt about it. Lost control, went behind him when he had two men on the inside, took the wrong option. And irrespective of whether he lost it or not, it's that rule that we brought in last year. You can see Radlinski going into the tackle. If it gets the ball dislodged, then it's play on.
Let's get a thought from Paul Cullen on the opening 33.5 minutes. It's rip-roaring stuff, Paul.
I think the pace of this game is getting faster with it as the clock ticks by. At this point in the first half, you expect it to slow just a fraction, but both sides have upped the ante. They've stepped up a gear. How they can keep this pace going, I honestly don't know.
50-50 in terms of possession. Bradford enjoying the better of things on the scoreboard. But here's Radlinski for Wigan, and he's through the first one, and he gets the kick in looking for Carney. Oh, he just couldn't take it in. Was he tackled without the ball? No.
That would have been a try if he had not knocked on. It was judged by the Bradford winger, and it looked for one moment there that Carney was going to go in for the 4 points. Radlinski broke away. Brad went far too high.
I'll be watching. Come on, I am.
And as you can see, it came off with his leg.
Keep your 5, Danny.
Just got there in time.
Well, a lot of pressure from Wigan, but so far nothing to show for it. And Shontaine Harpy on his way to hospital.
Intercept there. It was a dodgy pass under your own, just near the line there.
Dallas was alert, and here is Robinson, shows it to one. Has to take the tackle, which he does.
That was nearly suicide by Bradford.
Danny Orr
in control at 8-0. You don't do things like that under your own sticks.
Tickle, they were flying in. The tackler's there. Joe Vanganar missed him. That's Tickle. He makes a couple more vital metres. They're banged underneath the sticks, Wigan. This is Newton. Reverse pass to Sculthorpe. Great defence again. Newton again. Robinson fires the pass. More great defence. Lost. And it's a penalty, I think. It's a penalty.
And it was near to the last as well.
It was on the last coming up.
Well, the hand in. Peacock looks like thunder at the official, but he got it right.
This is a great opportunity for Wigan. Hands on, does he? No, he's lost it. He has lost it under pressure.
Well, I think justice was done there because it looked slightly forward.
Let's get square, Wigan. 2.
Both sides utilising this 50-50 pass. Well, I'm not so sure that Wigan are getting back the 10 metres.
Well, the speed of the game is just incredible. And Aaron Smith.
Good thinking by the hooker as well. Quite a few of the Wigan players that turned their back on to play the ball.
We're still not square.
Standing square again. Wigan are pinged once more by the referee.
2 or 3 in the last couple of sets.
Penalty on halfway.
We're standing side by side at the play the ball, lads. We've got to get
I'm not so sure. I think that's a little bit harsh. It appeared to me as though the ball had been played.
Come on, we've got to get square.
Gareth Hock.
Well, it's desperation now for Wigan. They cannot afford to concede a try just before half-time.
Price goes wide to Withers. Oh, and they almost got away with it. In fact, they have got away with it, Bradford, because I think it's a knock-on here by Wigan. Oh no, it's head and feet to Wigan, is it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's a knock-on.
Well, Gareth Hock maybe had a little fingertip on that.
It was Coe Love that actually got the fingertip, even though he got to it, he just hit the ground. Well, they will be relieved, not more so than the Wigan coach Mike Gregory. But isn't the full-back Michael Withers having a blinder of a game? He's creating all sorts of problems for him, and he's doing most of the attacking out on the right-hand side. I haven't seen him make a rush on this near side, the left as he's running down.
Oh, that offloading, and that was suicide by Brian Carney. Gave it straight to Radford, and here come Bradford again with Vanganar. Saints 20 points to 2 up against Hull after half an hour.
2.
Aaron Smith. This is Peacock, is it?
3.
This match has been played so fast. Leon Price.
4. What's the name?
Danny Orr with another tackle. Like to see his stats for tackling in this first half. Carl Pratt to the corner, and Vinacolo picks it up on the bounce. He'll put it down. It's a decision for the video referee.
Just let me have a look at the catch.
Was it a knock-on by Vinacolo?
Let's have a look at the catch.
I think this is a try.
See if A, there is an infringement, or B, is there a knock-on?
You're looking to see whether he's onside. Oh, it's pretty hard to say that.
Well, they're all onside.
They're onside, that's for sure. Now this is going to be interesting. Now I think he goes for the man rather than the football. He's got to decide whether this is a knock-on. Does he contest the ball? He does. But I've seen them given. I think there's going to be a try at it.
Well, they were the two men that Phil Clark picked out as the stars to watch, and here they are involved in a hugely pivotal moment of this match.
He's got to decide. Well, I'll go for Bradford knock-on, Eddie. I'll eventually go for no try. But it was close.
Well, Dave Campbell is tonight's video referee. He wants another look at it. Now, did it hit Vinacolo's arm?
I think it did. I think this is going to be
it's a very difficult one.
It is. I think this is NOTRY for me.
Well, David Campbell is the man who matters. His decision is a try.
Well, that's amazed me. I really thought that he had the fingertip to it.
Leslie Vinacolo, opening try last week. It was his 40th try in just 55 appearances. There's number 41, and this is 56.
Definitely onside. Very difficult for the judge there, but certainly went through the hands and hit the body. Now I thought perhaps that Vinacolo, as he touched, well, if he touches the man before the ball, then doesn't that bring about the fact that he's taking the man out whilst he's in the air?
Yeah, but I think he is contesting the football, and I think the video referee, from what I'm hearing, has said it touched both chests.
I know, but the thing is, by the time it gone through Carney, the winger had already made contact with the Wigan winger, so therefore it's oh, that's a dubious one.
Well, he doesn't have the extras, Michael Withers, but it's a 12-0 scoreline to Bradford on the stroke of half-time. Brian Noble is on his way down to the dressing rooms. Good first 40 minutes of season 2004 in the Super League. Are you saying that should have been a penalty, Wigan, then? Not a try, Bradford?
Yep.
Because you believe that he...
Well, look, they brought in the rule last year. They said that if they touch them, instead of going for the ball, then that's basically a penalty to the opposition.
But if they're both contesting the ball,
yes, but
and I believe Vinacolo was, and obviously so does David Campbell.
Remember, there was a spate of all this through the season where the players were being coached to make it look as though they're going for the ball, but actually was taking the man out. That's what I think he did.
Well, that's all for the debate at half-time. Bradford lead by 12 points to 0. Withers with 8 of the points. Vinacolo on the stroke of half-time with what could be a crucial blow. This year, Bradford, as world champions, are ahead at half-time. And when you think about it, in a match and a half now, one against the NRL Premiers, and there's a man that Wigan are missing, Andrew Farrell. But in a match and a half, one, as I say, against the NRL Premiers Penrith, and this one here against the beaten grand finalist. Bradford Bulls have conceded just one try. What did I say about defences having stepped up to the mark in that first half? They really have upped a gear.
Well, we spoke about the pace in that first 40 minutes. Can they keep it up? I mean, Wigan, they've been training. They really haven't had a hard knockout. It was a pretty tough encounter as well last week by Bradford against the Panthers.
Second half, they have to defend their line for their lives.
Well, you've got to say to yourself, you know, will they tire Bradford?
They're the biggest team, though, aren't they, in Super League? I mean, physically, they are the biggest.
Yeah. Certainly the biggest three quarters.
Wait, Gareth. 5,
Last tackle here. It goes back to Leon Price, who shaped a kick. He gets away from Gareth Hock, then gets the kick in. That's a good kick too, because it means that Dallas has to run this ball out. Let's go down to Bill Arthur. We saw Andy Farrell and a glimpse of him. Bill, you're talking to him now.
Andy, 12-0. They're not out of sight, are they?
They're not out of sight. You know, we've had it tough in that first half. I don't know what the penalty count is, but it's not in our favour. So we've got to sort that out ourselves, and we've got to get good finishes to the back of every set and start building some pressure. You know, the thing is, as you say, it's only 12 points, and we've got to be patient and not try and win it from the goal here.
8-3, the penalty count in the Bulls' favour.
Thanks very much, Bill. Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
What about the Vinacolo try? Lots of debate at half-time. What did you see of it?
Well, I seen him wrap around Brian Kern his body, so I thought you're not supposed to tackle people in the air, but that's a Wigan point of view.
Well, what have Wigan got to do then in this second half? We've got to close that gap.
Well, we're getting some success by taking them on around the ruck and you know, getting them with the inside balls and at the edge of the ruck, but sometimes we keep going a bit too wide and relieving the pressure of that kind of game plan that we've got. So we've got to stick to our game plan and be disciplined as us go right through to the end of the game.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Always great to hear from Andy Farrell, but Wigan will be looking for him to do his talking out there on the field. But I can tell you that because the Great Britain and Wigan captain has agreed with him about the Vinacolo try, my co-commentator is preening himself now.
Well, the man's a good judge.
He's got Wigan running through his veins. Does that not make any difference?
Slightly.
Carl Pratt, Leon Price standing deep, and as he went down, got the ball away, and that's
good refereeing.
the turnover.
Good refereeing there. Tackle had been completed. Watch this.
Don't move early, Bradford.
No, the ball carrying arm had not hit the deck. Bradford are a bit, I'm afraid, a little bit unlucky there.
Well, it's pretty difficult for a referee to say. What was it? A quarter of an inch before it.
His arm was on top of everything. It was the other arm that hit the ground.
Did you get a Christmas card from Mr. Russell Smith this year? I think you did.
Here's Danny Sculthorpe. Midway inside the Bradford half of the field, plays the ball.
That looked forward.
O'Connor.
It's going to be a problem for officials this season.
Well, it's such a tight line, isn't it?
Yep.
That every team will run. Robinson gets the ball away, and there is no way through there for Danny Tickle. This is Luke Robinson, and he'll hoist the kick. Well, Vicona.
Oh, was he impeded?
Well, Leon Price won't hang around.
Well, it looked like a player was impeded there. Look at that. Coy Love just impeded.
And here's another penalty for Bradford, meanwhile.
Well, the officials have missed it. Coy Love deliberately took the man out. There's one thing by shielding a player. He will be most upset, Mike Gregory. Andy Farrell said that it's something, the penalty count, that has to be sorted out by his own teammates. Well, maybe the one where Peacock, the ball hadn't hit.
Hands off, quickly, one, hands off!
Just, it looks deliberately obstructs the winger.
Quicker, Teddy!
Should have been a penalty.
I'm desperately searching through the new edict from Stuart Cummings that he has to, now the referee should pay particular attention to the defensive line. That's, and the players are blocked, but that's for a debate maybe on boots and all later.
What a great move that was, Eddie. They did a double shuffle back on the inside. It nearly came off with the big fella.
Back it comes to Vicona. Good defence from Wigan. This is the last. They're 10 metres shy of the line, Bradford. And Leon Price changes the direction. Little kick through into the in-goal area. Oh, so close with us. Radlinski took the gamble then.
Withers complaining to Russell Smith, saying that he took it over. I'm not so sure. He makes no attempt for it. It does hit his foot.
Get up in one, release!
Steve, I found the line. Obstruction play is the title, and the referee should be aware of the recent practice of blocking players who are chasing a kick upfield. This must be penalised on each occurrence. They're the exact words. Boots and all, Wednesday, 10:30, Sky Sports 2. We might talk about that.
That was forward again.
Well, it was another flat pass. This is Gareth Hawke, and he's making ground. He gets the ball away, but straight to Banganar, and here comes Withers. Well, they are conspiring towards their own downfall, Wigan.
They certainly are.
Coelho.
There's a big fight in the middle. If it's not a fight, it's a waltz between four of them. It's warming up, this. Wigan know, and it's all about frustration. Penalties against them. Silly balls being passed when they don't have to. And he's got to keep an eye on this as Russell Smith. The official has to make sure that it keeps cool.
Carl Pratt. Vanganar slips the pass. Leon Price. Back it goes to Peacock. Peacock grounded there by the tackle from Danny Scully.
He lost it.
And the referee agrees, but Jeremy Peacock doesn't.
Said he was interfered. Well, it's moments like this. Who's going to light the touch paper? No doubt about it. Sculthorpe was involved, pushing and shoving at both arms there, but also Peacock didn't seem to have control of that.
By the way, the Wednesday week we have the varsity match live in the Boots and All slot. That's the first time ever that the students will have appeared live on Sky Sports. Oxford against Cambridge, 7:30, Sky Sports 2, Wednesday, March the 3rd.
Who are you going for?
Hands off 3!
Who are you going for?
Oxford. I went to Oxford.
Right. And you can't spell Cambridge, that's why.
No. I did the Central Eating at 2 colleges in Oxford years ago.
O'Loughlin. Oh, another ball goes to ground.
Went back, or was it?
No, it came off. It came off O'Loughlin. It came off Tickle, I beg your pardon. It was O'Loughlin's pass.
Yeah, it wasn't the best pass either. It was always dipping down.
Your back standing, keeping 5.
Well, they just can't get a solid set of 6 since the restart. Mike Gregory knows that time is ticking away. He's got to somehow bring about something to build their confidence. Obvious ways to score a try, but
Langley.
I think Wigan should change their tactics, you know, Eddie. We haven't seen many little chips over the top or the grubber kick through the first line of defence. And because this Bradford defence is so solid, they've got to change their tactics, got to do something different.
Both sides working hard. Fielden flicks the pass, it wasn't the best. Withers though, and then O'Connor envelops him on the deck. Aaron Smith, good ball. Vanganar, quick hands on, came off for them.
That's 4, get off it!
That's Bradford.
Took it well under a lot of pressure, just dropping behind him. Interesting to see how
Bradford was Parker, I beg your pardon.
Interesting to see how Bradford just keeping it tight, settling things down.
Last tackle, oh lovely, measured kick. It's picked up by Vinacolo. Good night. Second try for Vinacolo. A measured kick from Carl Pratt. Gathered in by the big fellow. And that could be curtains for Wigan.
Nothing short of brilliant. I mentioned the fact that it should have been Wigan utilising the chip over the top. They were caught napping there. Carney was in no man's land, there was no sweeper. And with a man with a wonderful hairstyle got hold of the football, it was where do you want it plonking down. What an effort. That is sheer quality. And I must say that Carl Pratt is repaying the confidence that Brian Noble showed upon him. When many people perhaps thought that Carl Pratt was not ready to make the big time, that he could wobble under pressure. He proved it last week against the Penrith Panthers, and he's had a wow of a game tonight. He's been so influential with his kicking tonight as Mr. Pratt, and finished off wonderfully by Vinacolo.
Well, Carl Pratt, the man you mentioned, hardly put a foot wrong last Friday. Former Leeds man, he was at the crossroads of his career 12 months ago. Be interesting to see what Brian Noble does with him when Deacon is fit again. Withers misses another, and that's where they miss Paul Deacon with the kicking. But at 16-0, who needs kickers?
Beautiful chip over the top. Watch how the ball comes in. You can see there that Carnage no man land. Bump. Thank you very much indeed.
Don't get in front.
It had to be finished as well. Went in the arc. Rudlinski couldn't get a finger on him.
Clark here, skillful Bradford try.
Yeah, cruel one at that, because Wigan had been working so hard in defence really to try and harass the Bulls and force them into a mistake, but they just couldn't do it, and the skill really in that Bradford side. That's a fantastic team effort try there between those two players there, the communication and then the execution really under pressure. Superb try. There's not a lot really Brian Carney could do. He had to drop back for a deeper kick, but the pinpoint accuracy of that kick was just too good for them, and again they're now able to get out of trouble. You know, if Rugby League were a human game of chess, then Bradford's piece is just to have too many moves at the moment for Wigan, and Wigan are really doing it tough, but they're working so hard, and with Pongia and Smith maybe due to come back on the field, got a chance yet.
Wigan, far too many mistakes though, Phil.
Wasted opportunities, Steve. On the last occasion we saw Tickle drop that ball inside, and they've been unable to spend long enough attacking Bradford near their own try line, which is what you've got to do in Rugby League to have any chance of winning. The handling errors there from the Wigan side, just those 5 extra really have prevented them building pressure on the Bradford side.
Well, we talk a lot about Bradford's strength, and they are a massive physical presence on the field, but skill there that was on show for that try was outstanding. And look at the second half possession, it's all Bradford. It's just about one-way traffic, but Wigan trying to repair some of the damage. Robinson, back it goes to Gareth Hock. Oh, and Hock has skipped inside Fielden, and he keeps going, Gareth Hock, and gets the ball away to Robinson again, and he is hunted down by Rob Parker.
Wonderful play by the second row there. Oh, a big gap's appeared.
And this is Danny Orr, went backwards, picked up, and Newton is hauled back. Again, this wonderful Bradford defence.
They went for the power play. Wonderful play by Wigan, but matched every single way there by the Bradford defence.
Hull are clawing their way back into the match at Knowsley Road, and here goes Toa Love. Hauled down by Brett Dallas.
Opportunity to run there. They could see that Wigan's defence had not got themselves set up,
and the defence's line is all over the show. That's a very important tackle there by Craig Smith. There is a Wigan man flat out as Fielden drives it in. Problems then for Wigan.
It's Tickle.
Wide from Vinacolo to Johnson. Back it goes to Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith will score another for Bradford. The young man who is filling the boots of James Lowe gets his first try for the Bradford Bulls in the Super League. Only his 5th appearance in the first team. Highly rated by Brian Noble. He's worked with James Lowe this winter, and as Danny Tickle laid flat out 40 metres away, Aaron Smith took full advantage of the extra man, and Bradford come up with another try.
You'll remember this one for a long time, but again the ability of Bradford to punish the defence on that short blind side. What a dummy. Now you see, now you don't. Tommy Cooper would have been proud of that. It's not a rabbit, folks. Have a look. Uh-oh. What an effort. The crowd loved it, and so did I. Hope you're watching, Jimmy Lowe's. I bet there's a big smile on this fella. They're big boots to fill, Eddie. But he's gaining in confidence, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Highly rated Aaron Smith. And that had James Lowe's stamp written all over it.
Cheeky.
Well, it's way out on the far touchline. Michael Withers, I don't think he fancied it. But there's James Lowe's, the mentor of Aaron Smith.
Knowing Jimmy, he's run out there and said, I've scored plenty like that.
Withers misses with another 20 points to zip. Clarkey, what about that? A young man, Aaron Smith, 21 years of age. Game's in fine shape, eh?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, everybody talks about the size of Bradford, but sometimes we underestimate the skill of Bradford. Before that try occurred, you saw a great pass from Vinacolo and then a superb offload from Johnson. Inventive creativity there by Smith to put himself over in the corner. At times we underestimate just how talented the Bulls are. That was another perfect example of it, and it's a tough 24 minutes now facing this Wigan side. It's very hard to appreciate just how draining it is when you play against Bradford. So often they're big players, from the fullback all the way to number 17 for them, just take so much out of you with the size and the carries of the ball. You'll see got another one there. Just the energy that drains from you, having to pull him down really is making it hard for Wigan here. They can't get their hands on the ball in good attacking position, and there's monotony really of the defence that they have to do.
Well, the question, who is going, and here's another penalty going against Wigan. The question is, who is going to stop Bradford? Paul Cullen, you're one of the 11 other coaches who have the opportunity and the task. How do you go about stopping this juggernaut?
We've got to try and match the character of this Bradford side. Early in the second half, 2 decisions went against them. They could have felt aggrieved. Tris Radlinski kicked the ball dead in goal and it was missed by the officials. And Danny Sculthorpe knocked the ball out of Jamie Peacock's hands. It didn't go the way. That strengthened the resolve of the Bradford Bulls, and they've come back even stronger from it.
And they're on a roll here again now. They're midway inside the Wigan half of the field. Aaron Smith, Leon Price goes wide, and everything is sticking tonight for Bradford. That's Rob Parker.
That ability not to just look for the offload, but knowing that you're going to have colleagues there all the time. This is wonderful stuff.
It is, and they're toying with Wigan now, with us.
Inside, little flips, running the angle.
And it's Carl Pratt, and he finds Anderson. We know the damage he can wreak, the havoc he can wreak from
Anderson's
10 metres out, but the ball has been lost.
So slipped out there, the big prop forward couldn't keep hold of it. Desperation here. And lucky to get the ball eventually. Certainly lost control of it.
Wigan are finding it so tough to penetrate this Bradford defence.
Well, it's changed the situation, mainly due to the fact that he's using a sliding defence now, and when you've got such a commanding lead, you can afford to do that.
Newton and Danny Orr. Oh, he escapes the net this time. There are always 2 big men there waiting to snare him. O'Loughlin, flick over the top. Will it bounce kindly for Wigan? Not particularly. Nothing that Kevin Brown could do with that.
Well, at least that was a better option. The fact that Wigan really should have utilised this a little bit early in the second half. He tried well, did Brown, to try to get the ball back on the inside. Thinking by O'Loughlin, the loose forward. It's been a high-quality game. We've seen some wonderful skills.
Yes, another night, Wigan would have been well in the hunt, wouldn't they? They've tried things that haven't come off. They've
only got themselves to blame.
Yes, I'm
not taking anything away from this wonderful effort by Bradford. I perhaps thought that at this point in time they may be just finding it difficult. It was a hard game, as we mentioned last week against the Panthers. But the guy who's really controlling.
Oh, here we go. Supporters there from Pratt, and it bounces in the end kindly. It's 6 to go.
Oh, he's passed it. Oh, what's happening here? I can't believe this. This is total madness.
Aaron Smith again. Now it's 6 to go for Bradford. Well, it all went wrong then for both sides.
What on earth were they thinking of? And under the rack, they get the ball, and then they're trying to pass the ball over 2 would-be attackers. Right underneath your sticks.
Langley plays the ball. Here is Leon Price. Pops the ball back. Here goes Vinacolo. He's looking for the hat-trick, the big man, and he's got it. Hat-trick for Vinacolo. Glum faces on the Wigan coaching bench. Vinacolo off to a tremendous start with a hat-trick. 22 tries last year, but if you go high on him, you've got no chance.
And they deserve to be punished as well. Good break by Reardon. Parker Sutty, should I say, and back on the inside. But look at this. Third occasion, they get it. What on earth are they doing? I cannot believe what was happening there. They should have stuck to that ball like glue, especially with the fact that the balls are running rampant. Here comes the big fella. They try to put the shot on him. O'Connor, then Newton. He said, I'm having the hat-trick, boys.
And Michael Withers could easily add the extras. And he does.
This could turn out to be a massacre.
Well, at 26-0, it doesn't make pleasant reading for Wigan.
Sheer strength. There's been many stars, not more so than this big fella here. Hat-trick. Took him a while to settle, you know, when he first came to Bradford. They said he was a bit dodgy under the high ball. They said he didn't do much work. They said he wasn't all that good in defence. Boy, he certainly has improved in all departments. But the one thing that they got him for in the first place was to score the TR wise. Well, that's good defence.
Bradford got the ball, and Johnson got the treatment.
Still moving. There is the hand underneath, though. You're not allowed to do that. Watch for the hand. You're not allowed. That should have been a penalty. He tried to get it back, but the arm went underneath. That could very well have been another penalty against the Wigan side.
Well, it's not been the best start for Danny Orr so far. Radlinski.
Well, to my knowledge, I think there's just 2 clean breaks that Wigan have produced so far tonight. Gives you some indication how they've worked hard in this Bradford defence.
This is O'Loughlin.
There's one man out there in the Wigan jumper that can perhaps turn the tide. It's Gareth Hawke. He's worked hard.
Danny Orr delays the pass. This is Kevin Brown. Bradford's defence standing tall tonight. Robinson. Pongia. Quentin Pongia. Tackled on the last. Newton. Brown again. Ball in goal and is shuttled over the touching goal by Michael Withers, inevitably. Another Wigan attack repel.
Yet again, the only option is the kick. Anyway, you'll turn this Bradford side around. Good work by the youngster. At least they will get a repeat of the 6, something that they haven't achieved so far in this second half.
4 home defeats for Bradford as Fielden takes a well-earned breather. 4 home defeats last year for Bradford. London, Wigan, St Helens and Castleford. Looks like this one is going to go Bradford's way tonight, and revenge will be sweet for those defeats, but an even more emphatic victory for the Bulls than we saw from them in the grand final.
It has been superb. They've worked hard, but the one thing that Mike Gregory, the Wigan coach, will be looking to is a little bit more composure. They've tried to force a pass when it hasn't been on. So many intercepts they've offered up tonight.
26-16 at Knowsley Road. Robinson, Danny Orr, Radlinski.
Again,
such defence.
The white shirts just smother them.
Newton, picked out of the air by Pongia. Off it goes to Danny Orr, and Danny Orr behind the sticks. Gains a little consolation for the Wigan Warriors on this his Super League debut for his new club. Their only major close season signing.
It was good work though, wasn't it, by Craig Smith, spinning in the tackle. So often they've done this throughout the game and they've come up with nothing. Danny Orr, consolation, that's all it is, but it's his first in the Wigan colours in the Super League. Will not affect the game, or will it? Do we have enough time?
Well, you would think not from 26-0. But you never say never in the Super League these days. Danny Orr makes it 26-6. Time is their worst enemy.
They were desperate for that, and all the Wigan camp fully realised that they needed some sort of points.
Well, Mike Gregory and Dennis Betts know they won't be coming up against Bradford Bulls every week, Clarkie.
No, but the first 3 away games are Bradford, Leeds and St Helens, so they know that when they travel on the road, they're pretty tough opponents. The one thing that just showed that if they spend time close enough to Bradford line, they've got the players with the skills to get over it, come up with the 6 points, but they've just not spent long enough in this game attacking Bradford on their own try line, partly because Bradford are a great side. The other thing Bradford doing this year, they're tremendous from a kick-off there as well. Every player back 10 metres behind the kicker, and it's a full-on chase for the kick, although Craig Smith's done very well. Look at him there trying to lift the Wigan side here now. They might not be long enough, I'm not sure in this game. Wigan will give it everything they've got whilst players like Brian Carney run with it. Just a Bulls technique in defence though. They've just controlled that ruck, haven't they, by the speed with which they've allowed Brian Carney to play the ball. On the back of that, quickly up on Pongia, and Wigan are going wide to try and go forward.
With Brown and Dallas, and he cuts inside, and Toa Love got to him. Quick play the ball from Wigan. Here is Pongia, and this is O'Loughlin. And as soon as Mark Smith received that ball, Paul Johnson was all round him, with a little bit of help from Jamie Langley.
Oh, it's going to be a penalty.
Yes, the referee agrees.
Good thinking there by Terry Newton. Knew exactly what was happening. Made no attempt to get back to the 10. Well, for the first time. Probably throughout this game that they've really had Bradford on a roll. He's played his part, hasn't he? The centre, Paul Johnson, former Wigan player, of course.
Well, he's always going to be up for this one, though, wasn't he? Now, Wigan, can they get something else here? Pongia! They have 13 minutes. And it is the effort they put in last week starting to affect Bradford. That's another great run. That's Craig Smith.
We haven't seen Newton go from dummy half. Will he try to poach one?
We had a look round both sides. He went this way to O'Loughlin. Bullet pass wide. Good defence again. Reardon. This is Luke Robinson. And Robinson just changes the direction again. Pops it back to Pongia. Pongia then gives it to Danny Orr. Here's Radlinski. A bit tight to the touchline though. Radlinski goes to ground just in the field of play. Danny Orr. Craig Smith. That's the last.
Surely the kick.
Smith. Newton. Danny Orr. There's the kick cross field. Chances here for Carney. Knocked it forward.
He certainly went for the ball, not the man on this occasion. And it really is the only option left to this Wigan outfit. The quality of the sliding defence from Bradford has been so punishing. There's been very little space allowed for Wigan to show their skills. We know the quality of Danny Orr. We know the ability that if you give him room to move, he can control things. They've just shut him down.
Here come Bradford again in the shape of Paul Johnson. Aaron Smith gives the pass this time to Vinacolo. Wigan's heart in their mouths when he gets it, the big fella. Fielden comes back, by the way. Carl Pratt again, a real thorn in Wigan's side tonight.
One of the best games I've seen Carl Pratt have.
Leon Price hoists the high kick. Oh, it's hanging. Fielden's after it. Oh, Radlinski spilled it.
They'll play the first knock on.
Penalty
in front of the kicker.
Offside against Fielden.
I must say this was a bit, well, he did go for the man. And he did close his eyes as well. Yeah, it was in front. That was one thing that Johnny Lang, after the game last Friday, was a little bit critical of in regards to the referee. He felt that a lot of the time, remember the big kicks to Wesser, that a lot of the Bradford players were well in front of the kicker, which was not picked up by the officials. He said it's not sour grapes, it's just that it's something that we didn't pick up on.
Jude, back to this line, get off him! Wait, lads, hold on.
Smith plays the ball to Newton. Here is Robinson. Back it goes to O'Loughlin. 10 minutes to go. Any hope for Wigan, Paul Cullen?
Get square! Square, Jenny!
Sorry, apparently you're not hearing Paul Cullen. We can hear. We'll come back to Paul in a moment. Sorry that you had the silence.
That was a swinging over one. Terry Newton's got away with it. The officials have just shunned it.
Here's Vinacolo.
It was a swinger there from Terry, and it didn't miss.
Offside against Wigan. Too quick out of the blocks. Third strike, Paul again. Paul, we heard you perfectly. Our listeners didn't, and our viewers didn't. Tell us how Wigan can get back into this match if they possibly can.
Well, they have to find a way, Eddie, through that Bradford defensive line, and they don't look like they can come up with anything in the final closing minutes of this game. The Bulls' defence has been absolutely awesome, although Wigan did break it at one point to score the try. Was a little bit of a freak pass, 8 or 9 foot in the air. Craig Smith plucked it out, kept the ball alive, and that's the only way I think they're going to break this Bulls' defence tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic.
It has, from start to finish.
And again we see Terry Newton getting somewhat excited through his body. We could have been caught for a flop there.
Hands off 3! Come on, Luke!
This is Withers. And here they go again with Aaron Smith, and this is Langley.
Hands off, Craig, 4! On your line!
Leon Price, Carl Pratt. A stab to the in-goal area, races on, and Radlinski has it. Can he get out of trouble? No. And there's a bit of an argy-bargy in back play. Frustration for Wigan.
There's a few swinging arms going on out there. Been superb, hasn't it? Was he tripped? That's what Carl Pratt was a little bit upset about. I think he was as well, not surprisingly. He went looking for the culprit. I think it was Sean O'Loughlin.
Ball bounces into the arms of Price. Here is Fielden. Oh, what a run from Fielden.
Man Mountain.
No wonder he's attracting attention all over the world just now, Stuart Fielden. And so is this fella, Jamie Peacock. Trying to get the ball away, Peacock.
Did well to hold on to that. Now then, watch the switch of play here.
Smith goes wide to Pratt. Comes back this way, and this time the Wigan defence stands firm. Johnson plays it to Smith again. Vangenaar dumps the ball down. Terry Newton picks it up, and the referee says we'll have the knock on and put the scrum down.
No advantage. Well, you'd think perhaps that Bradford, knowing that they've got this game in the bag, that they'll be looking just to calm things down, just relax, save their energy. But they go hunting for another try. That ability, you know, Eddie, to play for the full 80 minutes is something you've got to admire. How many years have we kept saying it, that, you know, far too many British clubs, they've capitulated in the final quarter, but we don't see that now. Not in Super League anymore, no, especially from the top clubs.
Indeed not. And there's also been criticism in the past of Bradford and their style of play. If it doesn't work one way, they can't do it another way. But boy, they've shown they've got skill tonight. And they now have a penalty. Wigan.
Well, I mentioned before the game started that as the club and as the players have developed, they've got better. So has their coach. He's brought in nice things, slowly but surely, the confidence, angles, beautiful. And why they don't give him the Great Britain job straight away is beyond belief. I know they're thinking about getting somebody full-time, but why don't we give it to the man that is so successful?
This is Newton, and here is Danny Orr, and now it's with Robinson. Robinson Good jinking run, but he ran into the mountain that is Peacock. Here's Danny Orr. Danny Orr jinking all over the show. Newton again, attacking that line, stabbed the kick in. That was played at by the Bradford man. 6 to go. Oh, he's kept it going to 5 and last. Well, I think that was played at. Danny Orr's kick to the corner, looking for Carney. Picked up by Vainicolo. Hang on, hang on. He wants 4. Vainicolo wants 4 and will get it. 4 tries. Leslie Vainicolo. He's unstoppable. 90 metres. Leslie Vainicolo plucked that ball out of the air on his own line virtually and ran the entire length of the field with what, 4 minutes to go? Let's get down to the sideline. Dave Hadfield is going to tell us who the Rugby League media have chosen as man of the match.
Yes, well, that's probably removed any doubts that we had up here. There's been some very strong performances. I think the half-backs, Leon Price and Carl Pratt, carried on where they left off against Penrith. Great displays in the pack from Stuart Fielden and Jamie Langley. But how can you look past Leslie Vainicolo? 4 tries, fantastically powerful performance. He has to be our man of the match tonight.
Thanks, Dave. Leslie goes home with 4 tries. And what's more, he now goes home with the watch as man of the match. Who else could it possibly be? Carl Pratt will take this conversion. There was only one candidate when he set off on that run. 4 tries.
Little doubt, but this guy has played his part. Okay, it's not the best attempt at a conversion, but...
And I tell you what, Steve, as this competition hots up later on, as well as Carl Pratt has played, Brian Noble cannot leave Paul Deacon out.
Well, you may say that, Eddie. We talked about Brian Noble improving each year. He's getting confident. He knows it's a team effort. He knows it's 17 players, not just 13 each week in and week out. Wonderful effort, wasn't it? Go that pony. Oh. Devastating stuff. But it's a situation where they know, Eddie, that they've got to fight for their position. I know you say they can't leave Deacon out. Why not?
Another penalty goes against Wigan. They will be aggrieved, or at least they will feel aggrieved with this penalty count that's gone against them. 12-6 the penalty count in Bradford's favour. Oh, they haven't found touch. Here comes Brett Dallas. 30 points to 6 though. What a marker for the rest of the season.
Frightening, isn't it?
But it is for all the other competitors in Super League.
Interesting to see how they'll handle this minute and a half now.
Danny Orr. Oh, just couldn't get the pass away. Here comes Michael Withers. Michael Withers is after another. Michael Withers, what a pass! Toa Love was on his way, and it was a desperate last tackle by Radlinski.
Sensational stuff. Is it number 5?
A wide by Nicolo! 5! Has there ever been a more explosive start to a Super League season by any other player? It equals the Super League match record. 5 tries in a match. Mike Umanga, Jason Robinson, Tony Smith, Anthony Sullivan, Kevin Iro. Add to the list now Leslie Vainicolo. But never before have we seen 5 tries from one man on the opening night of a Super League campaign.
The volcano has erupted. Wonderful pass there from Leon Price. He could have virtually given it to any of them out wide. They had the overlap, but he knew that the man was going to go for a full handful. Look at the determination here. You ain't stopping me. He was down, no doubt in the minds of the official. What a game, man of the match. Oh, he's got the T-shirt, the book. VHS, DVD, you name it.
And he's
He'll
got
have it
the
all.
watch. He's got the watch.
Oh, wonderful stuff.
Well, Brian Noble said when he looked at the first 3 fixtures of his campaign in 2004, we hit the ground running. It was Penrith, it's Wigan tonight, and it's St Helens next weekend in the defence of the Challenge Cup. What a start to the season, and who can stop them? Carl Pratt just misses. There's the siren. Another breathtaking performance from the Bradford Bulls. Worthy Super League champions, champions of the world. Leslie Vinacolo, 5 tries. The man of the match, the team of the moment. And the rest in Super League will be scratching their heads tonight and wondering how on earth can they stop this Bradford Bulls side. 7 tries they've run in, 5 of them by Leslie Vinacolo. Another awesome display. Bill is with Leslie, the man of the match.
Leslie, congratulations on a man of the match performance. When did you last score 5 in a game?
Oh, never.
Never done it?
No, I never done it. So this is a good bonus for me. And I've been working hard, so we're gonna came out here and give them giving them their all, because you know we're ready for them. So it was good.
But what a start to the season for the Bulls. I mean, you beat Penrith, and now you've done this to one of your closest rivals. You mean business this year?
Oh, you know, we're just taking game by game. You know, last week was gone. Coming this week, there's a new week. You know, and there's a new team, and it's one of the best teams in the comp. So we're ready for them, and you know, this is our hometown. They have to come and fight for the 2 points every time they come here.
Well done, Leslie.
Thank you very much. I love you, Mum. I love you, Bob.
5 tries from Leslie Vinacolo. Man of the match on a sensational opening night for the Bradford Bulls. They're sweeping all before them at the moment. 34 points to 6. They've beaten Wigan. All the headlines, all the plaudits. Leslie Vinacolo, and that's what it means to his coach, Brian Noble. 5 tries from him in a 7-try thriller from the Bradford Bulls. Wigan Warriors, only the 1 try from Danny Orr that he himself improved, and well, Wigan must feel that they've been hit by a double-decker bus. Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, is with Bill.
Right, for a season to start like this must be beyond your dreams.
Well, not really beyond the dreams, but I thought Wigan came and really tested us. That's the good thing. They tested our structure and our shape and showed some good style themselves. I think we're a little bit more ready than they were, so full credit to Wigan. But we came up with the goods, and we showed that we're going to be there or thereabouts this year. It's good.
And Leslie came up with the goods.
Yeah, he's awesome, isn't he? You know, when he's on his game, he's probably the best winger in the world. I'm delighted with what's coming on, especially for him. You know, he's a great individual as well, great character in the game.
But you've just said off camera that you think they can do even better than that, your guys.
I didn't think we were great with the ball, but that's me. I'm weird. I'm obsessive. I think we're defending pretty well. The boys were beating themselves up at half-time, making a few too many errors, and we need to shape up a little bit better. And I know there are some tough challenges to come, so I think that's just about the improvement aspect that we're trying to achieve at Bradford. But I'm highly delighted because on the back of last week, it's really difficult to get a check of their emotions, and they managed to do that tonight. They understood they were in a big game. We've got even a bigger game next week, so we just got to keep our feet on the ground and keep working.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.